What are your best memories growing up?
I think the freedom that we had as children was the best memory. I can remember just getting on my bike with my friend with a picnic in the basket and just cycling off. I don't think we even bothered to tell our parents where we went.
I really loved going to Blockbuster. I don't know if you know what that is. And used to go in, used to get DVDs for our DVD player because we didn't have films like automatically on the TV. So we'd go every Friday night, we'd always pick a DVD that we wanted to watch over the weekend. And then I can remember you used to go back and put it through a box to like return it to the store, a bit like a library, but for DVDs.
I used to love being outside, playing in nature, but I used to go on a lot of bike rides. I used to play football. At primary school your age, I was on all the sports teams. So yeah, that's kind of just lots of time outdoors. I still kind of do that now.
When I was about your age, there used to be a Saturday morning pictures at the local cinema. And there used to be just children there, and you used to pay sixpence to go in, which in money today would be about 2.5p. And you used to watch a series of cartoons, and you used to sing songs as well while you were in there. Those Saturday morning pictures, I used to like to do that.
What toys did you play with?
I used to like to play with Sylvanian families, which were like little animals. Do you still have those now? Yeah. And I used to like Barbies, Brats were big when I was little.
All my favourite toys there probably are like stuffed animals.
Stuffed animals? That's a very, very traditional thing, isn't it? I think I like stuffed animals too when I was little. What's
I don't
yours,
really play with toys, but my sister does. She would either have a Barbie or a Barbie house.
So when I was younger, I would play on my PlayStation, but the PlayStation 1. So the PlayStation 1 was invented and came out in the 90s when I was born, and I used to play that. And I used to play like Crash Bandicoot, yeah.
What food did you like?
Well, my mum was a great cook, and she still is actually. She's 97, she still cooks. I think one of her best ones is a treacle sponge, a roly-poly pudding. It was sort of a dough thing with lots of jam, and yes, it was really delicious.
Probably a lot of similar snacks to what you guys have now, but used to like Muller fruit corners. They always went down well.
Just after the war, food wasn't available. We had a lot of potatoes, we had a lot of carrots, and we had a lot of cabbage.
And years ago, I realised that beef was cheaper than chicken, and now it's the other way round. And we used to have beef a lot, but only chicken at Christmas.
What's the favourite thing you like to eat?
Meatballs and pasta.
Meatballs and pasta. Okay. What about you, Nico?
It'll probably be chips and chicken.
Chips and chicken. Right, not puddings. You don't like puddings?
My mum loves puddings.
Oh, and me. I love puddings as well.
Did you have favourite clothes?
Yes, but there used to be favourite clothes which were hand-me-downs because people where I lived were very, very kind. If the bigger boy grown out of something like a jumper or some trousers or some shoes, they used to be handed down to my mum and we used to wear them, and then if they were still good, we will then hand them over to somebody else. Usually my brother was the one who had my clothes.
Fashion-wise, there was a lot of baggy jeans, and they used to have a lot of like embroidery on, flowers and butterflies and little tiny mirror discs all on your jeans. In my hair, I used to wear a like orange bandana with different gems on that I got from Claire's.
Now, when I was a little girl, we didn't have ready-made cardigans like you're wearing. Everything was knitted, and this was used to repair holes, and it was called a darning mushroom. And inside, because the top screws off, would be what's called a darning needle. So if you got a hole in your sock, you didn't throw your socks away in those days. You would
Knit them.
You'd mend them. You'd go inside the sock so that the sock was stretched across there, and the hole would be here in the middle. And then you'd use the wool to mend the hole, and then you could wear your sock again. I'll put the needle back in.
What was the best invention for you in your era?
Probably the television, but then it was a long time before we could afford one. We didn't have a television when the coronation was on.
Well, I know when we moved from this old house, we moved to a new house. This new house had an indoor toilet and it also had a bathroom. And I think that was my first things that I thought, gosh, isn't that good?
Probably iPads and iPhones. I definitely think they create a more connected world, which is really, really important. And again, for you, it's easier to access education. And I definitely think they've made a massive difference.
So the internet was actually invented in the 90s when I grew up. So I think how accessible that is now, and there's so much that the internet provides.
And my family didn't have a phone in the house until I was about 11. So if we wanted to make a phone call, what do you think we had to do?
Go to the telephone box?
Yes. We had to go make sure we'd got some change, and we had to go to a telephone box to phone somebody. But we could only do that if we knew that they'd got a phone as well. So quite a lot of people didn't have phones in the house in those days, and we certainly didn't have mobile phones.
Have you ever met the Queen, and what do you think of the Queen?
I've never met the Queen. I think it would be wonderful to meet the Queen. I think she's an amazing person. She's a year younger than my mum. Of course, I sort of see her as that sort of figure. Yeah, she's a very special lady, isn't she?
I've not met the Queen. I saw the Queen last Jubilee. We went to London and we honestly hadn't realised it was Jubilee, so my parents were a bit shocked at how busy London was. And we were talking to a policeman and he was like, oh, I can take you to the front. So there was like a big queue of people. And he was like, oh, if you just wait here for a few minutes. And then the Queen came by and she was waving at everybody. And she honestly looks so just pretty, I guess.
I think she's marvellous. I think she's absolutely marvellous. Because I think going back to the day why she became Queen, she probably thought, oh, I don't want this, I don't really need this, because she was only a young lady. But regardless of how she felt, she's done a marvellous job.
I think she's amazing. She should keep going on and persevering.